Well, the audience has spoken. The audience has spoken. And we are going to talk about brands and entertainment, right? Because this is a big, big topic right now. But I guess we'll wait for some more people to jump in. We'll start here in a second, and we'll talk about the future of, brands, entertainment, why this is all happening, the ecosystem that's being created right now. It's quite simple. It's really interesting times right now that we're living in. And when I first started in this industry, 10 years ago, I grew up in Chicago, and I came out here because, honestly, I watched the show Entourage, and I thought to myself, this is an actual job. That's an actual job. Obviously, I didn't want to be that type of character, but storytelling has always been one of the most important things for me. It's been a driver of a lot of my decisions, and that's why I joined this industry, right? But look, what we're seeing right now with brands and entertainment is it's still early innings, right? Let's think about it as a baseball game. We're still in the first or second inning, but you're already starting to see a lot of the early signs of why this is happening, right? And why this is happening is because nobody watches ads anymore. It's really simple, actually. Nobody watches ads. I don't know about you, but when I'm watching YouTube or any other social media platform for that matter, when I am watching something engaging and I get interrupted with an ad, I can't press that skip ad fast enough, right? And that's what we're seeing at scale. Messages aren't getting through. And things need to change, and obviously traditionally brands would advertise and against entertainment, so they choose shows, movies, stuff like that, and advertise against it to rent that attention, right? In the hopes that somebody will see that pre-roll or that ad on social or that commercial, right? That's the old model, but it doesn't work anymore because attention is fragmented, right? We get consumed, we get so much content thrown at us all day long that all we really want is engagement and meaning and characters and great storytelling, and that will never change. That's why these streamers, right? I put out a thing yesterday, and it's out out there in the public right now. They're spending north of $100 billion a year on content between all the streamers, and it's growing at a 6% rate. So what do I mean? Let's get back to the crux of this, right? What do I mean by brands launching entertainment studios and partnering with Hollywood and the entertainment community? What do I actually mean when I say that? What I mean is this. I want to give you an example. What if Ted Lasso was produced by Adidas? Right? Just think about that for 1 second. If Ted Lasso was produced by Adidas, look, Ted Lasso, obviously an incredible show. It hit the zeitgeist, pop culture, many seasons. But the show in itself, if you really think about and know Adidas' brand, that show fit a lot of what Adidas stands for, right? So what if Adidas got in early, right, at the development stage when they were making it? What if they had funded development and paid the writer, in addition to working with the creatives and the producers on the team, to actually make the script, right? Write the script, package it with great talent, and then sell it. Well, Adidas would be a producer on it. And yes, you could have the players wear jerseys, the Adidas jerseys, but it's about the story, right? And I keep going back to this as well. Why does Amazon make entertainment? Why do they make movies and television shows? It's to sell more product, right? It's a loyalty program. They want you to come to their platform, be engaged, and have your attention solely on their platform watching this stuff in the hopes that you'll then take that attention and time and go on their platform and buy things, which they're doing an incredible job at. Why does Apple do it? It's the same reason. They're creating entertainment, this premium entertainment, right? They've been coming out with some hits lately. They're on a good roll right now. But they make entertainment to get you to buy more. That's what this is really about. It's not about 2-hour commercials. The brands aren't trying to produce 2-hour commercials. They're not trying to make a show or a movie and just load it up with product placement. That's not the goal here, because We all see that. We sniff it out immediately. If I see product placement in a movie and it's blatant and it's in my face, I usually just turn off the show with them because it's just so in your face, right? That's not what we're trying to do here. And this unlocks an enormous opportunity for the entertainment industry and brands, right? And what do I mean by that, right? Because I see a lot of the questions in the comments on some of my videos about, all right, we'll go into more detail. And this is why I'm doing this, to go into more detail on how you can transact on this, how you can capitalize on this, right? And get ahead of the curve. First off, what I would really do is get really, really smart on brands, on marketing, on what, on the role of a CMO, the role of branding execs, right? The role of a CEO, what they look for, because you need to understand a brand to a T in order to pitch them a project. Because I'll tell you one thing, if you pitch them a project, right, an unscripted show, a movie, a television show, a doc, and your project is not on brand and it has nothing to do with what they stand for, I promise you will not get a response, and they will remember, and you probably ruin that door, right? First impressions mean everything when it comes to this. So get really smart on a brand. What do they stand for? What do they want people to feel about them, right? What are some past work they've done? All these things come into play. And the beautiful thing is you could just use AI to do it, right? It could save you a lot of time just doing that. So get really smart on brands. And look, what we're doing here, and I'll say this, what we do here at Sugar 23 is we partner with some of the biggest brands in the world, organizations, and I gotta say, Adam, what's up, dude? Good to see you. We work with some of the biggest institutions and brands, and it's in the trade, you can see it in the press, and it's happening more and more every single day because they want to launch studios and they want to scale that up, but they also want really world-class partners that can help produce this stuff, help package this stuff, help develop this stuff. And the brand comes into development, right? So think about it this way. It's seed capital. It's seed capital into premium projects that they otherwise advertise against. So they bring us on and we help make the stuff, source the stuff, develop the stuff between Hollywood and brands, right? So we are out there working with some of the biggest brands in the world and helping launch their studios and helping facilitate those and build them out and scale it up and produce stuff and sell and all the things. But we're also working with the creative community as a marketplace. So the creative community sends us stuff, the great stuff via our mandates that we have from brands, and we make that match. And here's the thing, we don't need to produce everything, right? Say if we get a great project from a creative, a talent, a producer, somebody just somebody in the industry, and we bring it to the brand loves it, we don't have to, it's really only if the producer or the creator that brought us the project wants us on the project, then we'll do it, right? Then we'll do it. But we're matchmaking. We're a marketplace. We want to connect great creatives and great talent and great projects with brands that want to get into space. And I can tell you this, it's happening more and more every single day. That's why I keep driving home these videos and the fact, because it's a fact, right? When this gets at scale and you now have, and look at all the industries, right? And all the biggest companies out there and all these different industries, and they're all putting money and capital and building film funds, TV funds to work with the entertainment industry and the storytellers to do this. Well, that is an enormously powerful ecosystem with a lot of money with a lot of money coming in and things being developed. And I can tell you this too, the distributors love it. The distributors love this. You want to know why? Because it offsets a lot of the cost, right? If a brand partners with a world-class storyteller, a producer, a creative, develop something great, right? And then they approach a distributor. Well, the distributor now doesn't need to really pay for development. So that is gone because they already developed a great piece of IP, a great project, great script, great sizzle reel, whatever it may be, whatever medium you're looking at. And also, if it's sold, right, the brand will get their investment back. Plus more if it's even more premium. And also, more often than not, right, the brand will want to advertise against it on the platform to push it out because now the brand has an asset. The brand has an asset. And this is what it's really all about when you break it all down. Brands want to create assets. They don't want to rent entertainment anymore, okay? They don't want to rent. They want to rent attention. attention is fleeting now. We all are bombarded every single day with so much content, with so many things that we just tune it out and just keep scrolling, right? And now it's about creating assets. And what an asset does is, first off, these brands can make producer fees. So now they're a producer on a project, so they're making money. When traditionally marketing doesn't make money, it's usually a cost center, in all honesty, right? It's a cost center. You make all these ads, you do campaigns, do all these things, which again, I'm not saying take away all ads and take away that completely, because those still work. Some of them still work, right? But it's about adding another strategy to the overall marketing ecosystem, because if you have one asset and one project, even if just let's talk about one project, right? You have one great movie that's developed and packaged and sold with a great production company, great creatives, great talent, and then it's sold to a distributor and it's about to come out. Well, let's just talk about the timeline here. First off, that is a hell of an announcement. Hell of an announcement. Can you imagine, brand partners with this to create this, sold to, it's that already is earned media alone, and we've seen that time and time again, that it actually moves the stock ticker too. But when you have an asset, it's all the spin-offs, right? All the spin-offs. Why does Disney makes all their money in their parks, their attractions, their events, their experiences, and the entertainment powers that. The movies and television power that, right? They spin off those IP and those assets into parks and rides and all the different merch, IP. This is no different. This is no different than that. And that's why brands are doing this. And that's why when this gets its scale and all this money is coming into the ecosystem, it's going to bring a ton of opportunity and capital. And if you're a writer and you're a producer and you're a director and you're a talent out there, you now have more partners to go to. So usually, right, the normal route is you're a creative and you go to a production company and you pitch your project and you try to get them aboard, hopefully, and you also approach financiers to get money, committed and capital committed. Now you can go to brands. Now you can go to brands that have incredible marketing ecosystems, that have massive marketing budgets. They're just more partners. And now you can have a strategic partner on board. So when you have this project and you're developing with a brand and you bring it to a distributor, it's going to be more appealing to them, because they're also getting a great marketing machine out of it to push this project out. And they're also, you offset the cost with development and developing the script. And then also talent wants to work with brands too. At the end of the day, the story has to be great. Talent is not going to want to join a project if all it is a 2-hour commercial or product placement. So again, the goal here, and I want creatives to know this, especially because I see these comments, I see, they're just making propaganda. They're making this. They're just doing a 2-hour commercial. It's branded content. No. It's like, what if the Four Seasons produced The White Lotus, right? That happened by accident for them. Right, that show took off and they blew up in a good way, bookings, tourism, but that was an accident. So now it's trying to, actually create the accident. Look, all else to say, it's an incredibly interesting opportunity and a time right now, and it's going very, very fast. I'm telling you right now, more and more brands, you're going to see them launch studios. It's happening right now as we speak. This is what I do and the company does for a living, right? And I can tell you, this is a really exciting time where it's a win-win for everybody involved. Everybody wins. More stories, more capital, more jobs, all the things, especially for marketers too, because now you have assets. You have these powerful assets that you could kind of take apart, right? You can do premieres, experiences, IP, merch, campaigns, events, talent partnerships, all from that one piece of IP or asset, right? That asset sits right here, and there's so much that can be done. I'm telling you, so much that can be done. So again, this is still early days a little bit, but it's picking up steam, right? Obviously, you saw the Gap news hiring a chief entertainment officer. You saw the Fanatics news. Obviously, Starbucks launched Starbucks Studios, and we work with Ad Council and Ad Council Entertainment. Chick-fil-A. There's just so many. We've done work with so many incredible brands thus far, and it's only just beginning. So I'm happy to answer any questions for the next 5 minutes if people have them. So here we go. We'll start looking at some questions here. Uh, let's see. First off, Sal, appreciate you. No problem at all with this content. I'm just trying, look, this is just about education. I'm just trying to let people know what's going on and how they can capitalize because, look, I got in this industry to tell great stories and be a part of great stories and the creative process and the industry. And this truly is a solve for everybody across the board. And that's why I make this, just to keep people up to speed on what's going on and let you do what you got to do to capitalize on the information or partner up or whatever it may be. So Sal, it's no problem at all. Yes, Cirques, the mid-level brands will do mid-level things like storytelling on their socials, but maybe there's a way for them to co-invest in the big ones. Absolutely. Let me break this. So these funds that they're making, I think the biggest misconception is that this is incredibly expensive. Small brands, small businesses, big brands can all do this. Because just think about it for right now, right? If you're a mid-sized brand and you have a sizable marketing budget, let's call it a sizable marketing budget, right? You can seed capital. This is seed capital, right? This isn't paying for production unless the brands want to, because the distributors will do that, right? You sell to them and they'll finance that. But this is about seed capital into premium projects alongside incredible creators, writers, directors, talent, producers, right? That's what this is about. So mid-level brands can totally do this. And, let's just say a brand has $2 million that they want to set aside for a film and TV fund, right? To seed capital, to seed invest into projects. Well, you can ideally, depending obviously with fees and all this and demand, ideally, you could take 500, develop 4 projects. You could develop 4 pilots. You could pay 4 different writers or creators $500,000 to create 4 different premium projects with producers, and then package those and sell those, and then you make your money back when it sells, and you get even more in success. And then again, you have an asset you can advertise around, create assets, put it on all the socials, right? That's a real thing. And that's like a modest budget right there if you had $2 million. And even if, 2 take off or 2 are sold and 2 go to series, well, that's going to pay for itself in spades, right? And then obviously that fuels further investment into more projects and building your slate out. So that's for mid-tier brands, 100%, and we're seeing a lot more mid-tier brands want to get in the space, launch studios, and finance development of premium projects. So for sure. Any other questions here? I see Joint Dexter. I think all the efforts will go to winning the audience's attention because there are so many. Yes, and look, creator economy is continuing to explode. That is going to continue to explode, and it's a very important piece here. This is just, again, there's the creator economy, and this is another addition to an overall marketing strategy. And this is a whole other industry that's being created that's going to help everybody out. So, yes, the goal is attention, but the goal is also emotion. The goal is also meaning, right? Because especially as you get more and more AI into the mix, and we're already starting to see a lot of the ripple effects of this, right? Like Sora, the new OpenAI app, their viewership and their engagement is actually super low right now. It was really exciting in the beginning because people are like, whoa, I can make AI videos. This is amazing. Like, it had that cool factor and just like that wow factor at first. But, I've been on it too. After a while, when you're scrolling all these AI videos, you get kind of sick of it. Right? And then you start, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. And you go back to whatever other platform you're using to engage in human-led storytelling. You want to see humans again. You want to see connection. And that's just human nature. That's just psychology right there. And that's why you're starting to see YouTube, right? They're getting rid of AI slop because it's not appealing to advertisements and brands. They don't want to see AI slop. Nobody wants AI slop. And now they're putting, verified, was this AI or was it not, right? So it's going to get weeded out very, very quickly here. So I'm very bullish. There's going to be an avenue for AI content, and it's going to be interesting how it's going to be implemented in certain movies and TV shows because it does kind of lower the cost for certain scenes and stuff like that. But no, human-led storytelling is going to be even more in demand. It's going to be even more in demand. When everything's AI, you don't even know what the hell is going on anymore. And you're like, is this AI or is this real? You're always going to gravitate towards the human-led storytelling and real moments and real characters, real emotion, right? So yes, attention is a part of this, but these brands are also fighting for emotion and meaning because that's what keeps people engaged. Anyone can get attention. Attention is actually very easy now, but can you get emotion and meaning? That's what keeps people sticking around. That's what creates fandom, and that's what movies and television do so well. They create fandom because you feel something. You're injected into a world and you leave feeling something else. You feel inspired, you feel this, you feel that, and that's what these brands are going for. And that's why they're partnering with world-class creatives and the entertainment industry and putting capital in, because this industry knows how to create amazing stories, like we always have and we always will. I can answer a couple more questions here. Sal, yeah, local brands are even doing it for like 10K, 25K budgets. Yeah, and you totally can too. I mean, especially in unscripted and documentaries and sizzle reels, for sure. Let's see. Does anyone else have any other questions here? Again, I can do more lives in the future and hone in on how big should your follower count or audience be to actually be working with larger brands via startup audio drama. Look, I think the biggest misconception now is people still think we're in the intention economy. We're an interest economy, right? We're in the interest economy right now. So even if you have 2 followers, right, the algorithms are so powerful and amazing right now that if you make one video about your love for dinosaurs, right, let's just be for dinosaurs, right, the algorithm is going to spit it out to everybody it knows in the platform that loves dinosaurs, and you could go viral immediately. Everybody has their own interests, their own topics. If you talk about those, it will find the right audience. The algorithm will do all the work for you. All you got to do is just record it and post it, and the algorithm does all the rest. So just make content, put your audio stuff out there, put your dramas out there. It will find the right audience. It will get to the right brand. It will get to the right branding exec, right marketing exec, and they'll reach out and DM you, and you'll be on your way, right? But everybody, that's the time I have right now. If you have questions, just shoot me a DM, and we'll do more and expect more videos and some of these questions as well. So see you, everybody.